Here we are at the National Eagle Center in Wabasha. I'm here with one of our
National Eagle volunteers. My name is Maddie.
and we're going to meet the ambassadors that are out here for us to see at the National Eagle Center. Okay, she's going to tell us about them.
With Ambassador Angel over here.
Ambassador Angel.
Angel is our 26-year-old bald eagle, and she's one of our females. So females in the raptor world, specifically bald eagles, tend to be larger than the males by about third the size. So Angel is here because she has a permanently damaged left wing. When she was young, she either fell out of her nest, maybe had a bad first flight, and broke her wing on the way down. She was discovered, fortunately, by a herring biologist that was actually surveying the area, and she was brought up to the Raptor Center up at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. She was then discovered that wing had actually healed the opposite way, so they had to re-break it, fix it, and unfortunately, since she was at such a young age, her flight muscle developed.
Oh, her flight muscles?
Yes, yeah, they never properly developed, so they kind of just atrophied away in that left wing. So when they did kind of flight triage, kind of flight training, seeing maybe if she could fly, be released back out into the wild, she could only get up a foot or two and she'd come right back down. So that's why she's here, for a little extra human help. Wabasha is our 19-year-old male bald eagle. He's from all the way down in Jacksonville, Florida. And when he was younger, he was found dragging his head along the beach because he had a tumor about the size of his head on that left eyebrow. When he was brought to a rehabilitation center down there, they removed that tumor and unfortunately discovered that that eye was permanently damaged. He was able to keep that eye for a number of years, but eventually it did get it infected, and he had to go and get that fully removed. And with that, he had part of his skull removed too, so it's kind of a little indented there. With bald eagles, they can't adapt to that having one eye, having a blind eye.
And on average, how old do they live?
On average, you'll see a bald eagle live 20 to 25 out in the wild. When you're looking at captivity, you're looking at more late 30s, early 40s. In captivity, they get health care, they get food every single day, and they have a nice, comfortable area to stay. Out in the wild, they have territorial disputes. They never know when they're going to find their next meal, and there's very varying weather conditions all the time up there. We provide those baths as kind of an area to clean up and kind of bathe into. Bald eagles absorb about 80% of the water they need in a day through the food they eat. So that's why they can survive so well out in the winter. Because drinking a lot of water is not really an option out there when it's really, really cold, especially in Minnesota. You have those areas where they're nice and open, where you could find water, but most of what they eat, that takes care of the water they need. Rouse has got a really nice sign of comfort in captivity. She does a really nice loud one. That's just a nice, sing a nice and comfy, shaking out. But yeah, Angel is very territorial, and there's a nice poop. Very commonly when you see raptors when they're getting ready to take off, they want to go into a territorial dispute. Out in the wild, they're going to poop because that kind of lightens the load. It's very interesting. Since these guys are already so light, kind of getting that extra step out is pretty nice.
Right. So this is Angel, and that's Wasaka? Washaka.
That means strength in the Ojibwe language.
What does it mean?
Oh yeah, strength in the Ojibwe language.
Oh,
Yeah.
strength. Well,
It's a very strong bird. And
that's a
Angel's name
male.
was-
Yeah, they're significantly smaller than female.
Yes, yeah, and that size difference too is for another reason. So location also plays a part in their size difference. So Angel's up from Danbury, Wisconsin, and Washaka's down from Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, there's a huge difference. Yeah.
So there's something known as Bergman's rule, and that applies to a lot of different animals. But basically saying that the further down south they are, it's really warm, so they need to be smaller to get heat off really fast.
Right.
Versus when you go further north, you want more body mass to keep warm during those winters because it gets pretty chilly up here.
What about the Mississippi in this area and the wild eagles? You have resident eagles here, right? Well,
Yes, yep, there's some residents. There's actually a floor map out there too that shows kind of all the individual eagle nests and what are currently active. Unfortunately, the one that you used to be able to see across the bridge fell down, but they rebuilt a little ways in.
Okay.
I know there's a bunch kind of scattered throughout kind of toward the back area of the Mississippi. But yes, this
And-
area kind of for eagle viewing, National Eagle Center, is
Yeah.
actually best during the winter. So this stretch of the Mississippi River, it moves so fast and it's narrowed so fast from Lake Pepin that it doesn't completely freeze during the winter. So you see a very large congregation of eagles.
okay.
I also have a photo that I can show you. Like,
Yeah, I would love to see it. Thank you. Hi, Angel. Hi, Washaka.
I have it flipped. So all of it will never force them to do anything they don't
Oh
want
no. Right.
to do. Yes, yeah.
Right. Hi, Angel. You're looking out at the river, huh?
Yes, yep.
Oh,
Really sounds.
what's going on with you? Are you talking?
Bird outside. I'm not sure.
So the tumor, how's Washaka found?
So he was just found by a great person out in nature. I don't remember what beach it was exactly. I don't know if we do now. But he was just dragging his head along the beach. So someone just found him, called a rehabilitation center, saying,
Okay.
hey, there's an eagle, drag his head along the beach and such. And yeah, when he was brought in, they found out that eye was completely damaged, and as well, unfortunately, was a starvation case. So he was pretty not in great shape.
Yeah, I know that there's normally not any intervention with wildlife unless it's an extreme case. So
Exactly,
that
yep.
seems pretty extreme. And you work with the University of Minnesota's Raptor Center, right? The veterinary school?
So we bring our birds up there for care.
Right.
Specifically the Eagle Center, we aren't connected to them in any way. That's kind of own separate thing.
Right, they have their own thing.
Yeah. They have a really great facility up there, though.
Yeah.
They have a really good educational sector, kind of a rehabilitation area. too.
Right, so-
Yeah, they do amazing things. up
So
there.
where do you care for your birds on site?
Yes. Well, we do kind of our basic kind of like if we need to do a vaccination, like the West Nile vaccination, we can do that on site. If
They get a
there's-
West Nile
They
vaccination?
do, yes. Yeah, every year just to make sure we stay nice and safe.
Uh-huh.
We can also do kind of beak clipping, so if their beaks get a little overgrown, we can kind of dremel them like a dog's nails.
Right, because they just keep growing.
Exactly.
Like and their talons.
Yes,
Right.
that's your talent. So if any of those need kind of a little dremeling, we can do that on site as well.
You use a Dremel on their beaks.
Yes, dremel on the beaks and the talons.
And their talons. Okay.
Yeah.
How do they like that?
No. So all
I was
of,
gonna
like,
say I would imagine that they'd be like,
Yeah, so all of the like care we need, if we absolutely need to do like a talon dremel or a beak dremel, is we combine everything at once because it's a very stressful experience for them. So we want to make sure everything's done kind of minimally. So we give them pieces of enrichment, such as like a frozen rabbit paw and a frozen chunk of ice, or like an egg curtain wrapped up in cardboard and tied really tight. So they have to exhibit natural behaviors of grabbing and holding it down and ripping and tearing.
That's great.
And they find very good stimulation in it. And it also helps kind of wear that stuff down. So usually once a year, unless needed extra, we'll bring them to the University of Minnesota Raptor Center to get their annual checkups, and that's where they can get a lot of coping done, kind of their nails done too if they really need it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If anything's really absolutely needed, we can do it, but again, it's kind of kept to a minimal because it can be really stressful for the bird.
Where do they live outside of here?
So yes, so for Ambassador Angel and Ambassador Wabasha, this is where they prefer to be throughout day and night, so this is where they mainly stay.
Okay.
We do have enclosures in the back if they were showing signs of stress or anxiousness, kind of saying I'm not comfortable out here anymore, where we can move them. But for these guys, their little kind of circle gravel pits are their own individual territories, and they like to kind of stay in there and defend them, quote unquote, because they still are wild.
Yeah, this is their territory. Yeah, they're
Exactly, yes.
okay.
They wouldn't want any other bald eagles getting in their territory, so that's why you have the separated gravel pits. A long time ago, we had a facility that was kind of all gravel, but by separating their little areas, it showed a lot of more.
That makes
behaviors.
sense. And how do they react when they see your resident or migratory birds out there?
Oh, good question. Yeah. So a lot of birds, they don't really care about unless they're other bald eagles.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yes. So when they see other bald eagles out in the river valley, they will make a very loud territorial call, kind of saying, "This is my space, and you need to get away." That's kind of what they're saying. Territorial call, and sometimes they don't kind of get down to that kind of pattern we saw earlier.
Right.
Say,
So.
look how big I am, look how strong I am. You want to come a little closer to me.
And what about, have you had any curious eagles come up to the center?
Yes. So.
I'd imagine.
Not really,
No, not
They-
really?
Yeah, they can't see through this glass, so there'd be like no
Oh,
really reason to come
yeah.
up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and they wouldn't want to come up near humans at all because they're wild animals. We're also kind of an apex predator on our own, so they're relatively not okay with us or really
Yeah.
scared of us. So they'll kind of stay on their own thing, flying over the river, catching their fish, perching in the trees, something like that.
And you also have, there are also different tours and experiences that people can enjoy through the Eagle Center.
Yes, yep. So we have public programs, which are right across the street. We do public or educational programs at schools, libraries. Which is
He's
totally
over
okay.
it.
Yep. And then our other bald eagle Perseus, who's our juvenile, he also is back there right now.
You have a juvenile?
We do.
You have a
He's-
juvenile bald eagle?
Yes. He's 4 years old, so he's still kind of got that.
Oh,
like,
he's
Sergeant
right, almost
Pepper.
sub-adult. Yeah, almost there.
Almost there, yeah. But he's still in kind of his training stage. So if you leave and look through those green doors when you head out, you can actually see him through there. And that's
Oh.
almost a part of his training because he's still learning that, okay, people that aren't in blue uniforms are still okay. So by looking through the window, you're kind of giving him that exposure to people,
Right.
saying, okay, I'm safe, they're not going to come at me and anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go upstairs. There's a second story, and then our Eagle program starts in 10 minutes.
He also happens to be our only local bird. Latch was found just outside of Winona, Minnesota, sitting on a sandbar in the Mississippi River after not moving an inch for 3 days in a row. Several officers from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service were able to go out and rescue Latch. They brought him up to the University of Minnesota Raptor Center up in the Twin Cities. It was there they discovered that Latch has a detached retina in his left eye. He is blind in his left eye, and based on the scar tissue in that eye, it was from some sort of impact. Something smacked him in the face. Being blind on one side means Latch has absolutely no depth perception. He cannot tell how far away anything is. Something as simple as landing in a tree? That's not so simple when you can't tell where the tree is. Hunting is virtually impossible when you can't figure out where the food is. Latch would not be able to keep himself fed or even just safe and healthy in the wild. That's why he lives with us at the National Eagle Center today. It also doesn't hurt that Latch is here helping me teach every single guest we get through our doors all about bald eagles. Things to go through, then it's your time to shine. Latch has some lovely chunks of walleye today. Yes, you. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce everyone to Latch, the National Eagle Center's 9-year-old bald eagle ambassador. She has looked exactly like she did in front of you today since she was 5, 21 years ago. If Angel lives to be 40, which bald eagles can in human care, 35 to 40 is not uncommon for them. Look exactly the same as she did in front of you today. That sort of thing would be like a person hitting about 22 to 24 years old and then not visibly changing until the day we passed.
This is a Blue Star Museum. Do you know what that means? A Blue Star Museum is for our troops. You get to go, Blue Star Museums, you get to go in for free. Okay. So that was the National Eagle Center in Wabasha, and across the river is Wisconsin. We are in Wabasha, Minnesota. It's a 2-story museum. It was well worth it. We were able to catch a program. They have many seasonal programs and year-round programs. They're driven by membership and donations by guests like us and visitors, so I encourage you to go. It was a beautiful experience. Their ambassador eagles were lovely. The program that we did see that they offer every day, the museum's open every day, was highly informative and lots of fun, and featured one of the ambassador eagles, as you have seen. The town itself is lovely, little river town right along the Mississippi. The museum is 2 stories, all glass. It's a Blue Star Museum, meaning military active duty and veterans. You are able to get in for free. Okay, so donations are welcome. I hope that you enjoyed running through the National Eagle Center with me. I loved it. It was a highlight of this trip out here to Minneapolis, the Twin Cities. Okay, thanks for watching. See you soon.